Hey everybody, this is Jose Blasco. We are about to start here. The time is the right time for us to begin. I would like to do a quick sound check. If that's okay, please confirm on the chat box with a quick message that you hear my voice, and that way I know we are ready to go. Very nice, everybody. Perfect. Thank you for confirming sound is good. I was just having a little mute issue with my microphone, and that's why we got a few seconds delay on the start of the session. But all good. Glad to hear that you hear me well, and therefore we are ready to start. So hello everyone. Let's begin. Today is March 10, 2020. We are getting together to talk about short-term trading today. Today is an intraday trading session. We're going to be looking at Forex and futures markets. We're going to be looking at the lower time frame, as the name of the session suggests, looking for intraday opportunities to be executed efficiently, quick in and outs, while we manage our risk, while we plan for proper targets and everything else. Okay, so many of you have been attending those sessions for a while, so you know how it works. For the ones of you that are attending those sessions and you are new to it, make sure that you utilize as well the chat box as the session progresses. So if I go too fast or there is any question, you can phrase it, and I will be looking at the chat box from time to time. So if you see that I'm not answering your question, just bear with me, because I will read you probably a bit later and then go over the answers, okay? Anyway, before we start, as always, we have a financial disclaimer, so I will read this quickly and then we begin. Disclaimer: the following videos, clips, and demonstrations are for educational and instructional purposes only. Tradictive provides these videos purely for the purpose of demonstrating a method of using the product. Users understand that all the content used in the video is purely for demonstration purposes only and is not a guide and does not provide any indication or prediction of actual results. As a user, you understand and agree that hypothetical results obtained through a demonstration do not indicate in any way the results you may receive on using our products. And this is the disclaimer. So the session is now officially launched. The session is now on, and we are ready to begin our identification of market opportunities and ready to trade. Okay, so quick look at the chat. Andrew, good to see you and good to have you with us. How are you? Three, good to see you as well. Lisa, happy Tuesday. Very good. Dirk, we've missed you for a few sessions, my friend. Good to see you that today you're connected with us. Wonderful. So let's begin. Okay, let's begin. And I have normally I start the session and I point at the fact that on the left we got futures, in the middle we got the majors, on the right we got the minors. Okay, and I just did. Okay, so that's certainly important, especially if you are new to the sessions, so you understand what is it that we have on the screen as of now. But before I get deep into looking at the trades, I do want to point at the fact that because yesterday was a pretty crazy day in the markets, isn't it? I'm sure many of you were trading, and certainly you realize that, wow, what a gap on the crude oil, the S&P being halted, and many more crazy things going on in the currency markets and everywhere else. So what a day. This is one of those days that we keep in the calendar, March 9, just like, May 2010, that was the flash crash. Well, it was not so severe yesterday, certainly not as much at all, but certainly it was definitely what I would call a crazy day, right? So in this sense, the market was halted, and because of that, it seems that there is some market data inside the TradeStation network that it's producing a little bit of an issue with auto climate, which is surprising because the very same thing happened on the Chinese markets like a year ago, and that was corrected. So I'm not sure why that's happening, but I'm just saying that on my screen you can see that auto climate for the S&P and the Nasdaq are looking good. And the reason why they're looking good, if I select both of those rows and I right click, I go study, edit, okay, edit auto climate. So you will see that I have changed in the general tab. I have changed. Let me see. How do I do that? How did I do that? Study, customize, not edit. Sorry for that, guys. Customize auto climate. I have changed the load additional data for accumulative calculations. I changed that to 80. By default, I have it as 200. By default, it comes as 200. If you make it 200, basically you are gathering in your calculations some of the candles that belong to the halting process of the market yesterday, and there is a conflict on the calculation of autoclimate that was corrected, but I'm not sure why it's producing an issue. Okay, so if you get an error message on those two rows, the way to fix it is very simple. You just get into customizing autoclimate for the S&P and the Nasdaq, change 200 to 80, and then your autoclimate will be working. And in parallel, of course, we'll be addressing this. And any moment in time, you may have an automatic update on your TradeStation, and you'll have a new version of AutoClimate automatically auto install on your computer. You don't need to worry about this. I'm just saying, if today you have an error message, the way to remove the error message is change it to 80. Okay, so this is something I wanted to say before we start. Okay, so again, on the left we got futures. Okay, so lower time frames with the most liquid products such as crude oil, the euro contract, the S&P, the Nasdaq, and gold. 60-minute time frame for yen and natural gas. 240-minute time frame for lean hogs, which are liquid products but less liquid. Then in the middle we got the majors. So dealing with decentralized markets, we don't go below 60. You could go below 60, especially if you have a very high quality Forex broker. But again, to keep it simple and to keep it kind of universal for all of us, since we all probably use different brokers, isn't it? So basically, here we go. So 60 minimum time frame, 240 is certainly a valid one for the majors and for the minors. You could go as low as 60 and even 15 if you have an impeccable Forex broker, but again, out of being universal, if you wish. So minimum 240 minutes, that's certainly a good starting point. And this probably provides enough opportunities for a trader. So really, you don't need to overdo it more than this. Okay, so let me see. Question here from Andrew. Hi, Jose. Only just found you. I am blown away by the efficiency, simplicity of your system. So far, so good. I came from OTA background and remember you and XLTs. And Andrew, I totally remember you as well. And I'm very, very glad that you are here, part of our community, and very appreciative of your words. Thank you for that. Thank you very much. So anyway, so let's go for it. Okay, so what do we have here? Okay, so we have a few golden alerts. Okay, one that just went off. Okay, with the first row, which is the euro contract. The second that is still here in place with gold. Okay, but notice that with gold we are dealing with a non-confirmed climate, and we know this because of the gray color. So because it's gray color, we're not going to touch it, okay, because you would have less probability. So we said that before, it would not be crazy if you were to plan trades on gold. You have some directional movement already in place, but it's not confirmed, reducing the probabilities, okay? Where with the euro future, we do have a confirmed climate, okay, as well as a sensible long opportunity, which is flashing golden, and therefore this is going to be the first trade that we're going to plan for today. I am now opening a workspace where I will be loading the euro contract EC. By the way, it's a long time we haven't traded the euro contract in the sessions. I believe, at least, that if I'm remembering this well. Yeah. So just waiting for the workspace to load. And the first thing I'll need to make sure is that I am using the right symbol, because again, maybe I'm not remembering this correctly because it's so many charts every day. But I think that I don't remember the last time that we traded the euro contract in the room. Okay. In any case, I guess it's not that long ago, because we do have the ECH20, which is the right symbol for the euro. Okay. So here we go. So what do we have? So let's begin our analysis here. First, we have a thick dot, blue color. This is telling us the directional movement for the euro is to the upside right now. It is confirmed, being thick as a dot. And when looking at stats, we are dealing with climates that could be out of up to 4 candles in a normal case. And this is candle number 1 in this particular climate. In other words, we just started a climate. It's just the beginning of the beginning. And we may be in this trade for another 4 candles, 50 minutes each. It's a 1-hour trade, okay? So in this sense, it is looking good to continue planning the trade. So I'm just gonna maximize this 15-minute time frame, turn on AutoUFOs, looking for targets, okay? And we are looking for red UFOs, okay? And nice that we don't see any red UFO, okay? That's very nice to see. At the same time, not seeing any red UFO here means that the next red UFO is very, very, very far away, which is cool, it's opens up a lot of theoretical room for price to move to the infinite. But as you are probably noticing from my words, which are quite exaggerated at this moment in time, so I'm looking at this potential infinite target like a non-realistic target. Certainly, if I was planning a swing trade or a position trade, then yes, I'll be happy about that. But for an intraday trade where I need to be out of the trade before 5 p.m. Eastern time, so then I'm not happy about this. And therefore, my proposal to you when it comes to target for the euro will be to just trail stop, trail stop, trail stop, and see how far it goes. Have a safety target as always, and then trail stop with a remaining position. Okay, so no final target for the euro. Given the fact that it's so far away, you can certainly set it up, but it would be kind of a little bit of wasted time. Okay, so what else do we have? Okay, we have an EMA pointing at 113.75. 113.75. It's certainly somewhere here in the middle. Okay, in the middle. This is 78. The saucer here is 78. Below is 76. Okay, so actually 75 happens to be below the UFO. So that UFO is not a valid UFO for entry. Okay, that is not valid. But wait a minute. Okay, what do we have here? Oh, that UFO just went away. And that UFO here, the top of it is 74. Okay, so I think that's good. I think that's going to be good, because if the price of the euro falls a bit more and comes into this UFO, okay, this particular EMA that is currently pointing at 75.1, it's likely going to point at 74, and therefore that 74 area may be a good place where to enter. Okay, so my concern now is that my stop would be below 67.5, and I want to know where that is, because that's going to be in the middle of the UFO, and therefore my stop should be 64. Okay, right below 64.5 is going to be 64. I'll make it 63.5. Okay, so we have an entry at 73.5. We're going to make it 74. The entry will be 74. The stop will be 63.5. So we are talking about well, actually we are entering the right now the area for trading. Okay, so I'm just gonna enter a trade here at 74 with my stop located much lower. Okay, much lower at 63.5, I said, which is just a bit higher. Okay, and we just got filled, by the way, so 262.5. Okay, is going to be higher. And by the way, the safety target, which I'm about to adjust, notice that above I got the other order for my final target. I'm just going to cancel it. Okay, cancel it, because remember we said that we're just going to trail stop. Okay, so 262.5 right there. So I got positive 262.5 for my safety target, negative 262.5 for my stop, which means they are equal distance. Okay, so I got my entry. Okay, I got two UFOs here that potentially are going to work my way. I got the climate in my favor. I got the EMA right where the entry is. I got direct force, indirect force. Okay, and now it's all about managing this trade. Okay, so when it comes to managing the trade, multiple rules apply, isn't it? So first, zooming in here. So first, we have a time stop in place. Okay, so this is candle number one. Okay, candle number one. We're gonna use a time stop of 3 candles. So 2 more candles to go. Okay, so we're gonna be looking at this. If we don't reach the safety target prior to candle number 3, then we will want to close this trade manually, ideally for a break-even trade or a small profit. Maybe it has to be a loss. That, of course, the market is the boss. So we'll just go with the flow in this case. Now, a new UFO just formed here with 71.5 being the entry. Okay, so certainly we can now bring the stop to this location. Okay, and now we would have much less risk on the trade. Okay, but having said that, I'm going to suggest not to do it, because when we planned this trade on the left, we were relying on 2 UFOs for this trade to work, and the second UFO is still in place. So if that UFO was gone, from a trade management point of view, if that UFO on the left was gone, then I would move my stop from 113.63 to below that UFO, reducing my risk, since the UFO I am relying on is gone. But because it's not gone, then we're just gonna stick with the trade and do nothing and just wait. Okay, and just wait and see if this trade will work properly or not. Okay. Okay, so just looking at all the information on the screen, really good news that in the reactive timeframes we can see green UFOs form. That's a great news. It doesn't guarantee anything because it's a tiny time frame. So basically, it's simply telling you that the place where you expected on-field orders, is actually showing on-field orders. So that's a good confirmation, if you wish. At the same time, if we were to have a change of climate, okay, which by the way, like a minute ago, we had a new candle form, okay, in here. We are still in the same climate, but if we were to have a change of climate, that means that on-field orders could be canceled, so that could be problematic. Okay, my concern here right now is that price is moving a lot pretty aggressively in the direction to the upside, and no UFO is forming apart from this one where the bottom part of it's basically below my entry. Okay, so if a new UFO forms anywhere here, which is above my entry, then I will trail stop above it. But while this is not happening, I just need to work on my risk management rules, my patience, my discipline, my professional approach to trading, my management of the emotions, and everything else. And hopefully, you guys are with me in the trade, and everything is making sense, and you are learning from this experience altogether. So, what else do we have here on the left? I believe we are now entering candle number 3. I just want to zoom in a little closer. So the trade was this candle. We are in the next candle. Okay, so the next candle will close at 48. Okay, so 50 is going to be our mark. Okay, 50 will be our mark. So not 50 yet. Okay, so it's 47. So basically we still got 3 minutes to go to act on our time stops. Okay, and you can see here a little bit of a challenge. Okay, there were red UFOs here, so not a surprise. We are relying on this UFO. We also have that UFO, so everything is looking pretty normal. It's kind of like the normal thing when prices go up and down before they pick up direction. Certainly triggering many emotions if you are new to trading. When you see the P&L being positive, then going back to break even, a little bit negative, back to positive. So we just need to go with the flow, respect the rules, and let the market do its thing. Having said that, if this trade doesn't begin working in our favor, clearly reaching safety target soon, then we will conclude that the climate is not strong enough, that something's going on-field orders are being filled, and then we will act on the time stop. But we are not going to do this based on emotions. We are going to do this based on the time, which is now basically 2 minutes from now. Okay, 2 minutes from now will be the time to act on our time stop based on the rules that I use. Okay, which some of you, given your personalities and the backtest that you have done, you may have concluded or decided to use 5 candles for time stop, or not to use time stop, or I am using 3 to keep you safe, especially in early stages. And given the nature of all markets, this should be pretty okay. Okay. Now, again, price pushing down. This is now a bad news to see a red UFO form. This is certainly not a good news. Again, the plan of the trade remains intact. The UFO is still there. We're still not acting on time stop. So my comment is out of an observation. It's not out of falling into panic mode. Oh my God, what to do? Not at all. We just follow rules. We just stick with the plan. Okay. And so the time here suggests that we still got 1 minute to go. Okay, so keeping an eye on that clock, and it's looking very unlikely now that in 1 minute we're gonna reach the safety target. Okay, it's looking very, very unlikely. So we'll probably be acting on bringing this trade to an exit point if we get to break even. Okay, so just waiting for this to be the case. Okay. Just waiting for this to be the case. I'm going to have my, my mouse ready to click close. Okay. When I see the clock hit 50, and we may have a little bit of a push. If we do, we'll exit at break even. If not, I'll just close the trade at wherever P&L is that, minimize my loss. And, we are now trading below the average, which implies that we may have a change of climate. This is not seen yet. But again, the time stop rule is the one that makes me get out of this trade as of now. Okay, so good news is that probably this trade will be around break even, maybe very small loss, I guess. Okay, and it's not ideal. Here we go. So I'm just leaving this trade, and leaving this trade right now. I believe it's $25 of loss. Okay, so we didn't go too far here, and we'll keep watching. Okay, we will keep watching. That's gonna be 10 minutes from now. A new update on the climate will be seen, and maybe new UFOs form. Look at that, just like the one that just formed. Even though this one it's below the average, so that one does not qualify as a valid entry. Okay, because it's 71 and 71 is below 75. Okay, it doesn't qualify. So really, it is really looking like a climate change may take place here. We don't know yet. We just need to come back 10 minutes from now when we have an update on the 15-minute time frame and reassess the trade. In the meantime, back to my main screen. Notice now how gold is now giving us a confirmed climate. So guess what? We were in and out of, and also crude oil. Okay, so gold and crude oil both are giving us confirmed climates. Okay, so I guess it's time to load those charts and take a look. Okay, so I'm gonna load gold and crude oil. Okay, and while those workspaces begin loading, so what I'm gonna do is get a bar chart. Okay, I'm gonna load bar chart. I always talk about it. Is very important, and I like to talk about it. If you are an experienced trader, what I'm about to show you know it by heart. But if you are new to trading and you were to use the wrong symbol, then you get in trouble. Okay, so there is a very convenient website called barchart.com where you have this future section where you have the contract specifications. Okay, you can find that in the website, and now we can move into energies and metals, okay, and confirm what is the right symbol to trade crude oil and what is the right symbol to trade gold. So again, if you trade those markets every day, you know that is by heart, okay? But again, if you don't trade those markets every day or you are new, always come back here, double check liquidity values, etc., to make sure you don't fall in trouble, okay? Initially, it looks like the J would be the letter that we need in our symbol for crude oil, okay? But always a good idea to let this bottom table to load to make sure that the J is the one producing the greatest open interest and liquidity, okay? And in this case, it is the case, okay? So 341, it's greater than 320, and open interest, volume 650,000, amazing volumes. It's much greater than 190 something. So the J is the right one, okay? The J is the right one. So what do we have? Do we have the J with crude oil? No, I have the H. So at CLJ20, that's going to be the symbol to be used in crude oil. And when it comes to gold, now I am moving into the gold markets. So going back, and now click on metals, going to do the same confirmation. Going to do the same confirmation on gold. And we'll check that, okay? So let me see. Hello everyone. Abika, Ray, Roy, how are you guys? Edward, Abika, for spot forex, after we reach safety target, how do we manage the trade until we reach the final target using trailing stop, like the same as futures markets? Yes, absolutely the same process as the futures markets. I will show you in a minute the flow chart. Okay, let me take a look at gold first, and then we can talk about that. Okay, so yes, with gold, we can also see J is the right, the right row with the greatest volume, greatest open interest, pointing at the J. Okay, so you always need to do this healthy confirmation before you trade to make sure that you are using the right symbols. Okay, so I am now looking at crude oil, and when looking at gold, I could also confirm, I believe, I think I saw it earlier, that it was the J. Okay, let me go ahead and I'm just gonna close the Euro workspace just to save a little bit of resources on TradeStation. TradeStation is a 32-bit software, and therefore maximum that it can use is 4 gigabytes of RAM memory. So I always like to close workspaces that are not being used. So anyway, what do we have? We have a climate with gold, which is confirmed, 1 candle out of 4 in the way down. So we are certainly on time to enter. 1657.4 is the average. So 1657.4 may be that UFO. Okay, let me take a look. Maybe 1657 zero point 0.7. Okay, yeah, that one is a bit higher. It's zero point 0.7. That was zero point 0.4 a minute ago. So that UFO is a little too high. And that one is even higher. So yeah, so it seems that at this moment in time, we don't have a valid entry with gold. Okay, what we need to happen with gold is that somewhere here, okay, what we need to happen is that somewhere here a UFO forms, okay? And then 5 minutes from now, if you look at the clock, we'll have an update, okay? The moving average may go down a little bit, okay? May go down a little bit. And as it goes down a little bit, maybe it's 56, 57, something like that. And that's going to be that UFO, okay? So that's what we need. So we just need to wait for the market to give us that UFO if the market is keen to do so. In the meantime, we just wait. And while we wait, we're going to look at crude oil, which is in a down market right now, a down climate, confirm 6 candles out of 8. So we still got 2 candles to go, and certainly it's a valid approach for us to plan on this trade. 33.28 is the average, okay? So 28 certainly falls within this UFO, certainly falls within that UFO, and certainly falls within that UFO. Okay, so we have a lot of overlapping UFO here. And the one thing that makes me uncomfortable, and I'm just gonna go ahead and discard the trade, okay? And it's a shame because it does meet the rules, but you will understand why I'm gonna discard the trade. So if I make an entry here with a stop above here, okay, certainly the EMA being 28, it's gonna be somewhere in the middle. Okay, it's gonna be somewhere in the middle of 28. Okay, so the setup is valid. The UFO is enveloping the EMA. So the setup is valid. Now, see, if the setup is valid, why is it that I am discarding this trade? Well, because if you think about this vertical distance, which is 20 ticks, okay, 20 ticks, for me to have a safety target, I need a safety target of 20 ticks below, okay? And certainly crude oil right now is in a volatile state, which means that you could move 20 ticks quite quickly, and you can see how quickly it was here. Okay, it was pretty fast. Okay, but at the same time, you also see other price movement that is not so fast, isn't it? So in other words, if I place my safety target 20 ticks away, then that safety target is basically a target. The word safety does not apply in this case. The reason why we use safety targets is to quickly remove the risk of the trade and be able to execute other trades in parallel while you remove the risk of trade number one. Well, if your safety target happens to be too far, then it takes time to get there. So now you're stuck in this trade for a longer time. And you also know that the further away your target is, the less likely you will reach that target. So then it basically, your safety target becomes just target one. It's just a target. Okay. So even though we do have a setup, okay, and I will not be surprised to see price falling from that UFO because the setup is there. Okay, and you can see the reaction and everything else. Well, the reality is that the trade from a pure money management and risk management point of view, it would be a poor trade, and therefore that's the reason why I'm discarding it in this particular case. Okay, cool. So back to gold. Do we have anything in gold? No UFO has formed. No UFO has formed, so we need to wait. Climates in the futures markets, nothing is new. Okay, good. So we're gonna move into Forex. Okay, how are you, Bojan? Good to see you. Marianto, good to see you. So I'm going to move into Forex, but before I move into Forex, I would like to give Abika his answer, okay? And the answer, Abika, is here. Let me get the flow chart in the main screen. Okay, so here in the program, as we are getting together in the sessions and we are trading together, we are working on 2 different flow charts, okay? So one flow chart, okay, and I can show you that, by the way. So let me do this quick. Just give me 1 second, guys. I'm working on my other computer screen. Okay, almost there. So I can show you the flow chart. So we are working on 2 versions of the flow chart, okay? So one of them, it's certainly very familiar to you if you have attended with us the class, which is called, I'm just gonna write it because it's a long name, it's called Survival to Mastery Forex in Action. Okay, so you may have attended this class. Okay, we are running, by the way, the next one is gonna be March 23, 27. Okay. And if you happen to, we do this online, okay, live online around market hours, so March 23 to 27. And if you happen to not to be available, we also have a version of this class which is self-paced, and you can find this on our website. You go to our website and you go to the, on the top you have a section called join, and you will see the classes there, and you can just register for the classes and either join us live from 23 to 27 Monday to Friday, 3 hours a day, or just use this class at your own pace by registering in the self-paced class. Now, if you have done that class, okay, that class is quite powerful in my mind. I mean, it's, of course, what can I say? I am one of the instructors delivering the class, so what can I say? But at the same time, I'm pretty serious here. That class is quite powerful. At the same time, we have limited time. 3 hours, 5 times a week, 3 hours per day, 5 days a week. That's 15 hours, and 15 hours really to learn how to trade is quite tight. So there is a couple of simplifications in the process where, for example, for trade management purposes, if you have done this class, we give you three choices. Okay, apart from your stop loss, you can use a safety target, you can use a rule based on climate change, and you can also take profits at your final target. And this is what you learn in this class. You learn many, many more things, but when it comes to trade management, you are given three choices. Where here in the YouTube channel, we get a bit more advanced, isn't it? And instead of three choices, okay, you are given all those choices. So first, you have a stop loss, which is the same as before, but you also have a time stop, which is optional. You have the safety target and the climate change and the final target, which is the same I just said, but you also have as optional a too far, too fast type of trailing stop, and also UFO trailing exit, which is also trailing stop. Okay, so this is basically your answer, Abika. You would want to apply those rules to forex and futures, both, even stocks, even options. You could apply those rules. Okay, and if you don't know where to find more details about how to do this, okay, so let me show you. Okay, you go into our YouTube channel, because you can access those videos in open, so you can go ahead and catch up. Okay, so you get into our YouTube channel, and here you can see there is a playlist called Sharpening. Okay, here in the bottom part, Sharpening View Playlist. So when you click View Playlist, okay, now a whole list of videos will load. Okay, and basically you can look at this sharpening flowchart. Okay, this is a flowchart. This is an explanation of the flowchart, which is more in detail, and that one is an explanation for, let's call it the version 2 of the flowchart, which is more advanced. Given the fact that in the YouTube channel we have no rush, we are not limited by 15 hours a week to go over the session. Okay, so I would suggest that you connect with the YouTube channel. And by the way, if you don't have, or anyone watching this recording, if you don't have a copy of that version 2 of the flowchart, okay, just send an email to rich@tradewithufos.com, and we'll be more than happy to send you a copy, and you have it, and then you can implement it by watching the YouTube videos, and that way we can help you in a pretty structured manner. Okay, Ray, I will say, in a wide UFO, is it valid to take the entry a bit deeper, closer next to the UFO logo, like number 2 entry type? Yes, but there is an extra idea, an extra rule I would like to add to your idea, which is certainly making a lot of sense. Okay, good one. Okay, good one there with your thinking. But the idea would be, okay, going back to crude oil, which I think it's going to be a great image. Okay, you can see how crude oil is falling from that UFO, isn't it? I mean, the climate was in our favor, etc. But again, from a risk management point of view, okay, this trade was not the best. Okay, so now, for example, let's say you tell me, hey, that UFO is too wide for me. It's 10 ticks, okay, it's too wide. So what I want to do is I want to enter somewhere in the middle where the inner circle is. Makes a lot of sense, but only if the EMA is lining up with the inner circle, okay? Because if let's say the EMA was to be somewhere here and your entry is above the EMA, it may still work because your UFO is a direct force, the EMA is an indirect force. Okay, and if you don't understand those terms, again, we talk about those terms in the survival to mastery, a course that I just mentioned. Which, by the way, it's called Forex in Action, but really you could apply it to all assets, so it doesn't need to be Forex. But my point is that what's more important, a direct force or an indirect force? Well, for sure, a direct force is more important, right? So you could certainly enter here and it still works. But if the EMA was to be below, then you are only relying on the direct force instead of relying on the direct plus indirect force in your trade. So my recommendation, or the new rule I would add in such case, is that okay, if the EMA is somewhere here, which in this case, that would certainly be the case, okay, because if the current price of crude oil is 33.02, okay, and crude oil goes back up all the way to the inner circle, guys, I need to sneeze. Just give me 1 second. Well, you know what? I don't need to sneeze. It was a false alarm. It really felt like I was going to sneeze. Anyway, so when the crude oil reaches that UFO, I mean, from 3302 to 3328, okay, we're talking about 20 over points, 20 over ticks. So, certainly that EMA, which is currently 24, it's probably going to be in the middle of the UFO, in the middle of the inner circle, I should say. So then I would say, go for it, Ray. That way, you manage your risk, you lower the risk, you're entering in the right place, you have direct force, indirect force. So it's all good, okay? It's all good, but only in that scenario, right? Because if you had the EMA below the inner circle, well, then you are only relying on one force, and even though it's certainly not crazy and the trade may work, well, from a methodology point of view, now you divert from the concept that we use. You are relying with one force only, okay? So now you may come up with additional rules, Ray, and you say, okay, you know what, I'm gonna take it, and now because I don't have the indirect force, I'm going to use half of the size. Okay, makes sense. But you are also adding complexity, and I'm all about simplifying. Okay, so hopefully this makes sense, Ray. Yeah, and this happens a lot. You're right. Yeah, false alarm. Yes, Dirk, you're right. Fake news. Anyway, so let's continue. So where are we at? So I believe we still got an alert on crude oil and the euro that changed climate, and gold and the Japanese yen. Okay, so we have work to do here. So let's begin with gold. Gold, what do we have? We got an update on the climate, second candle. That was 7 minutes ago. I guess I talk a lot. We have the EMA 56.6, 56.6. Certainly that UFO lines up. Okay, the top is 57, 57 is lining up with that one. The top is 60, 60 lines up with that one. So we are talking about a collection of group UFOs. I'm just gonna pass on the trade, same reason, because it's a very, very wide range. Okay, and certainly it may fall from here, but my safety target will need to be down all the way there. So the purpose of safety is kind of like challenge here, isn't it? Same situation as crude oil. We gotta be disciplined, guys, because even though we may see gold fall, in front of our eyes, you don't want to feel like, oh my God, I missed a trade. No, it's not the case. You follow your rules. The moment you follow your rules, you are doing your job, which is to be a trader. Okay. So anyway, crude oil. What do we have with crude oil? So we have the 28. Okay. So this entry could be a valid entry, as we said. Okay. So 10-point tick. Okay. 10-point tick. We got 28 and 28. Okay. So that's a valid one. So let me see. With crude oil, the target will be located at 31.19. So 31.19, that would be the target for crude oil. So let me see what we've got there. Okay, and we're gonna do something else, by the way, because we are already inside this zone quite deep, actually. Okay, so what we're gonna do is that we're gonna use a reactive time frame to see if we enter this trade or we don't. Okay, so I'm gonna be actually we don't anymore because that UFO is gone. Okay, so we don't, and it may has to do with a change of climate, 7 out of 8. Okay, it's not necessarily the end of the climate yet, but it's being a little extended to the downside, so we may have a change. Okay, so we will leave alone crude oil, leave alone gold. Yeah. So I'll close crude oil, and we're gonna go take a look at the yen. We're gonna go take a look at the yen and the euro, right? So we got the yen and the euro. Yeah, so let's go for it. We have the word hopeful on the Nasdaq and the S&P, so we're not going to touch Nasdaq and the S&P. We're going to look at the euro and the yen. I believe those were the opportunities a second ago that flashed. The euro is now pointing at 0.64 for the 8-year spread. So it moved a little away from the EMA, but it's not going to be that far, I believe. And we may be now in a fresh down climate. And that may brings us an opportunity. So loading the workspaces and getting ready for those trades. Okay, so JYH20, that's fine. The euro. Okay, we got ECH20, that's fine. So what do we have with the euro? Climate, confirm, 1 out of 4, that's fine. EMA, 65.3. So 65.3, it's going to be above these UFOs, so those don't work. 65.3, this is too high. 65.3, this is not good. So no UFO lining up with the EMA at this moment in time. So we just need to wait. Again, 4 minutes from now, we'll have an update on the EMA, and those UFOs should be valid entries. But we need to wait 4 minutes. Okay, so let's look at the yen in the meantime. So what do we have with the yen? We have an up climate. Okay, up climate. This is 2 out of 9. Okay, so certainly a good time to catch the move. EMA 9606, 9606. Let me see. This is a bit below the EMA, right? Let me see. The top is what? The top is 06. Okay. Well, this UFO is obviously challenged. Okay, and yeah, so we are not going to be able to enter this trade. There is a UFO where price is entering as we speak. Okay, I want to freeze the screen so you see it. Price is entering that UFO, and we may get a bounce of that. It's a direct force, but notice how that UFO, being 95.95 on the top, it's below 96.04. So we are entering below the EMA. This increases the risk of a change of climate. Okay, and with so many UFOs showing up, that may be the case. So we are not going to enter this trade. Okay, even though we may see a reaction of that UFO, we will not enter the trade. And again, the prudent, the safe way to approach this trade is to wait 3 more minutes to see the update on the climate for both the euro and the yen and see if a trade is available. Is gold providing anything for us? No, it's falling out of those UFOs as kind of expected, even though we could not capitalize on that because of the same situation as crude oil. And in the futures markets, really nothing else to do unless we wait 3 more minutes for our update. What do we have on the currencies? Okay, so on the currencies, I would like to look at the US Swiss franc. Okay, so let's take a look at the US Swiss franc, spot Forex, 60-minute time frame. Okay, so USD CHF. So loading the USD CHF. Let me see. Yeah, good one. I see your comments. Good one. Good mindset, Ray. I like very much what you said. Good mindset, right mindset. That's nice. So, okay, guys. So we are looking at the 60-minute time frame combined with the 8. Okay, so you can ignore everything on the right. Okay, so let's focus on the 2 charts on the right, on the left. So we are looking at the climate, which is 2 out of 7. So that's valid for us to enter a trade. EMA 92.26. Okay, so 92.26. Let's turn on AutoUFOs. Let's see if we got anything aligned with 26. We don't on the 8-minute time frame. What about the 8 range? So 8 range time frame, are you providing anything for us? Let's see. It's loading. You can see the little dots there. Okay, so that means it's collecting data from the internet. Here we go. We have it. So the entry that we have is 32. Unfortunately, 32 to 30 happens to be located above 26. So that entry is not valid for us. Do we have anything below? No, the one below would be 21, which is below the EMA. So our reference guide, being the EMA, being the indirect force, is not being properly enveloped by those UFOs on the 8-minute time frame. Okay, so not a big deal. We just, peacefully disable the whole thing, go back to the red screen and see what else the market is providing us with. Which, by the way, I'm just going to dive into the futures one more time, given the fact that the update is about to happen. on our screens. That's it. We just got a new 15-minute candle. So I want to start with the euro to see what we have on the euro. Okay, so on the euro, we have a confirm down climate, second dot, 2 out of 5. So time to get in, 59.3. It's the reference. So 59 is going to fall into that UFO. Okay, so I think that we could package those two UFOs together, group them, okay, and then those two UFOs could be a good entry for our trade. Okay, so let me open the 15-minute time frame. Nice little peak of volatility here. Okay, hopefully we'll have the same speed on the opposite direction, so we meet our entry. So euro contract, turning on AutoUFOs, looking for targets in the bottom part. So for the euro contract, I'm just hitting the wrong button on my keyboard. Looking at the euro contract, so second trade on the euro, this one is short. The target is going to be 112.84. Okay, so target 112.84. Okay, 112.84. So disable AutoUFO. Nice peak of volatility. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. We know that what moves fast in one direction moves fast in the opposite direction. And, we may see the euro rally to 58 from 20 in a matter of less than 15 minutes, which is what we need. Okay, so be ready to take the trade. The entry would be that particular UFO located at 57. Okay, so the entry will be 57. Okay, the stop will be above 65, so it's going to be 66. If I look at 66, this bottom part here is what? This bottom part is 69, so no overlapping. If we look at 66, it's also above this. So yeah, it's looking very good. Looking very good. Okay, so we just need the euro to come back to our entry, which is going to be 57. I'm happy because this trade, I believe, is going to give us plenty of time to place the order. Earlier, the prior trade with the euro, I was rushing a little bit. Okay, so I believe that not everybody may have had the time to place the order. Okay, so I'm just going to. Okay, and I'm finding my trade station to be a little slow. So when that happens, what I do to avoid trouble is use the order bar. Okay, so I'm just going to use the order bar. I'm going to have an OCO OSO. We're going to go for short with one limit, one stop. Okay, short, one limit, one. Actually, that's not right. I was thinking options in my mind. We're going to use two limits, one stop. Yeah, and my trade station is slow. Okay. You don't see it at the moment in time, but I'm running two virtual machines on my computer plus another trade station where I got stuff running there. So it's my computer is quite loaded at the moment. So two limits, one stop. Very good. And we said we're gonna go with two contracts. Okay, so two contracts, and this is gonna be 1-on-1. So entry will be 1.1357. That's gonna be the entry. Okay, we are very few ticks away, by the way. Okay, stop is gonna be, we said it's gonna be 66, isn't it? Yeah, 66. So 113.66. So if you think about, oh, this is not stop offset. What I need. This is the one I need to stop. 1.1366. Here we go. 1.1366. So if you think about 66 to 57, we're talking about nine pips. Okay, so my safety target is going to be 9 pips below 113.57. Okay, which is going to be 48. Okay, so 113.48 is going to be the safety target. Okay, and my final target, we said 112.84. I got a note here next to me. This is the green UFO that we found on on the 15-minute time frame. Okay, so I'm just gonna zoom in here so you guys get to see it. Okay, so shorting two contracts. Okay, shorting two contracts. Bracket one, stop 66. Bracket two, stop 66. Entry is 57. I didn't say it, and safety target 148 and final target 112.84. Okay, so it's looking like a pretty nice trade. So I'm just gonna send the order. Hopefully you are with me in the process. Okay, and the order is now in the system as I get a confirmation window, and I think I just made a mistake inputting some parameter. Yes. This is one. Yes, that's a very bad mistake. Okay. So let me fix this. I'm just gonna right click. Yeah, this is the perfect time for TradeStation to slow down, isn't it? Okay, I'm just gonna cancel all orders and do it again. Okay, so trade, two contracts, OCO, OSO, short with two limits and one stop. And the entry is going to be 113.57. Good. Stop 1.1366. The next stop 1.1366. Safety target right here is going to be 1.1348. And the final target 1.1284. Here we go. So now I have it right. And I'm just going to go for it. Confirmation yes. And it's all good. Here we go. Okay. So let me zoom in a little bit so you see this better. Okay. So we have right here entry, stop, and safety target. And then the final target is all the way 112.84, much lower. Okay. Since I zoom in the middle chart, you don't see it. Okay. But that's where we are. Okay. And now, so basically we just need price to come to here. Okay. And then we'll be in a trade. We still got 8 minutes to go until the update on the EMA. Right now, we are expecting the EMA to be lining up with this particular set of UFOs. If we don't get filled in 8 minutes, then we're gonna have to come back here, double check what is the value of the EMA after the update in 8 minutes, the moment we reach 12:30, which by the way will be the end of the session, and then readjust the trade, which could imply to cancel the trade or could imply to leave it as valid or maybe use the bottom UFO. We don't know yet. Okay, so we'll see that later on. I'll make a comment before we conclude the trade. Okay. Let me see. Marius, Jose, how deep the price has to penetrate the UFO in order to be discarded? Well, really, we don't need to worry much, Mario, about being deep or not being deep, because the technology of the app itself is basically going to either remove the UFO from the screen, or if any, change the coloring from dark to light. Okay, you can see that one is dark, the one on the top is light, right? So if it's light, it means the app understands there are less on-field orders available. If it's dark, the app understands there are more on-field orders available. If there are not enough orders available or very few, and the app considers it's not a trading opportunity or a valid opportunity any longer, then the UFO will be erased from the screen. So you don't need to really worry about, how deep it went or, how far it traveled. It's basically done by the coloring and the plotting of the UFOs. And by the way, in my use of the app, which some of you may be more perfectionist than me, and it's fine. In my use of the app, I really don't even care if it's lighter or darker. I just treat all UFOs like it's a UFO. Okay, that's how I do it myself, for myself. Okay. So yeah, so that's what we have. I mean, the trade setup looks beautiful, to be honest. Okay, we got those green UFOs that may bring the price back up. The fact that we just got red UFOs show up means that the climate is still clearly down. On-field orders are being added to the downside. So I mean, I just wish those on-field orders are very powerful, bring the price up. because from there we are likely going to see a beautiful trade. But we just need to wait for that. So what else do we have in the meantime as we wait? So the yen, what happens with the yen? The yen is still in an up climate. Okay, so we are in the second blue dot up climate. The EMA is 05, current price is below 01, so we may have a change of climate. There is no green UFO at current levels, okay, anywhere. The UFOs are below, so really the yen, it's looking like very soon is going to be a change of climate. So I'm just going to close this chart. I don't think we'll be able to do anything, tradable with the yen as of now, okay. But the euro may be. At least the setup is valid. Going back to gold. So yeah, as expected, gold kept going down. Again, we are not in the trade. It's okay. Okay, it's okay. It was not valid from a money management point of view. What else do we have now? Do we have a new opportunity? I would say we may. 56, it's the EMA. 56 certainly lines up well with the UFO. The UFO is still on the screen, which means it's still valid. If I look at 57.9, oh yeah, no, it's not going to be valid because that overlaps with that UFO on the left, and then my stop will need to be all the way 60, and that means that I still got all these vertical distance of risk, which puts my safety target all the way down there. Same reasons we said before, same scenario compared to crude oil. So I'm just going to close gold since we are reaching the end of the session soon, and we will not be able to trade gold in today's session. So what else? Going back to here, what do we have? Unconfirmed climate with S&P and Nasdaq, so we don't touch them. Crude oil changed direction, new climate for crude oil. So let's take a look at crude oil. I missed that one. Maybe we have a setup to trade on the opposite direction. So loading crude oil. Oh, I still have I didn't save earlier when I changed the symbol to the J. So switching to the J. So at CLJ20. Here we go. If you don't mind, guys, I'll have a sip of water, okay? Okay, so what do we have? Yes, definitely. Change of climate on crude oil. So this is candle one of 5, okay, 6, okay, we'll round up, okay, so 1 of 6. So certainly a good time to enter the trade. Okay, yeah, we got a problem. Same problem as before. So we do have EMS lining up with UFOs, okay, but because they are on top of each other, they are so near to each other, basically overlap each other. So basically it's gonna be a tough one, okay. So what's the top of this UFO? It's 17. The bottom of this one, so you would have your stop right there at 18, okay. Actually, we can actually take the trade. No, we cannot take the. Oh yes, let me see. So 19, here's the bottom. 19 is the bottom. 19 is the bottom. You know what? Yes, we can take the trade. Okay, we can take the trade. So the top of this UFO is, okay, so we're gonna end up with a stop in the middle of two UFOs. Okay, so this is gonna be our entry right there. The stop is gonna be right there on the white space. Okay, 1 tick away from each UFO. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. Okay, and the top of this UFO is 42. Oh my God, no, we're not gonna do it. Same problem as before. We got like 20-point distance, okay, from 19 to 42. It doesn't look big on the chart, but it's 20 tick distance. Again, problem with the safety target being too far, okay. So yeah, that's the problem of volatility at times, especially with the time charts. Okay, many other times with the share and the ticks, you end up with UFOs of a little bit of a more reasonable size. When markets are volatile, everything is bigger, but at the same time, time charts are the least precise charts, and therefore not providing that benefit here. Okay, so yeah, we are not gonna touch the crude oil. So what's happening to our euro trade? Okay, so let's try to anticipate what's going to happen here, okay? Because it seems that we are 30 seconds to go. I don't think we're going to rally to 57 in 30 seconds, okay? So the question is, where is the EMA going to be in 30 seconds from now? Well, now the EMA is 59, okay, which falls in here. So if the EMA now goes down by a little bit, it's going to be somewhere below and probably falls below this one. So the question is, can I make my entry? Would it be reasonable, okay, for me to use the bottom UFO as an entry, with the entry being uh, okay, yeah, that's it. I just got the update. So the update, this will be 56. Okay, you know what? I'm not going to touch the trade. The trade is still valid because when this rallies from 42 to 58, I'm pretty positive the EMA will be 58. So we are just going to leave it the way it is. Okay, I thought maybe we had to migrate and move into the next UFO, but I don't think that's the case. So yeah, the trade is still valid for the next 15 minutes. We just got the climate update, and the trade is still valid the way it is. So we just leave it like that, and you guys will tell me. We're gonna conclude the session now, but you guys will tell me if you got filled on the trade or not. Okay, everything else that we discussed in this trade is valid, and the setup still looks nice. So yeah, we just need a push to the upside, get filled, and let the climate and the on-field orders do the rest. Yeah. So just checking. Yeah, really nothing else from me, guys. Really, just feeling a bit bad today in the sense that we did very little with spot forex. We only looked at the US dollar Swiss franc spot, and it was a no go. So yeah, so that's what we got. Hopefully next time we have a little bit more spot forex trades as well for you guys out there, spot forex traders. Okay, but today is being quite heavy on futures. I guess that what's been happening since yesterday is one of the reasons, isn't it? Crude oil going crazy, the S&P being halted. What a day for traders, okay? And certainly something for you to keep in your memories, just someday to tell. Maybe someday you are teaching your nephew how to trade, so some story for you to tell when the S&P got halted and crude oil dropped, like 20 over percent overnight. So anyway, let me see before we conclude the session today. Marius, Jose, is the percentage winning of the UFO based on your own particular settings, or also respecting the auto climate and EMA? Marius, the percentage that you see on the screen, well, actually not on this screen, but on the other screens that you have seen, that percentage, okay, it's not the winning percentage. That percentage is a percentage to be used for calibration purposes, okay, which certainly is related with the win-loss ratio, but it really depends on how you trade. Because basically what that percentage calculates is how often price comes to the green and moves and hits the opposing red, or how often price comes to the red and then falls and comes to the opposing green. So basically, that percentage measures how often price travels from UFO to UFO, no matter the climate, no matter anything else. And therefore, your win-loss ratio will depend on other things such as having a safety target, not having a safety target, and many more things, isn't it? So again, that percentage is a great reference and certainly works on building up your confidence as well when you use the tool. But it's basically used for calibration purposes, and I would strongly recommend you to go to the YouTube channel, watch the calibration video. There is one video that the name is calibration. Watch that video beginning to the end. It's a long one, so take it easy. Okay, I know sometimes I take my time to explain certain things, but when I do, it's apart from it's the way I communicate, it's also because it's relevant, and there are times I want to rush, there are times I really don't want to rush. So take your time. It's like a 2-hour video. Listen carefully so you understand the meaning of that figure, and more importantly, how you adjust it for yourself. Last thing I will say before we conclude the session: my settings, okay, and you may know that already, but just in case, my settings, the one I use, and you will understand watching that video why I use them. Okay, so I'm not saying you have to do what I do, but my settings, as you can see here, are, sorry, I just hit the wrong button. My settings are 61.8. Okay, I'm basically using the Fibonacci golden ratio as a setting, and it's not because it's a fib number, even though that's a nice added bonus if you like fibs. But there is a reason for that from a risk management point of view. So again, watch that video. I recommend everybody before you use AutoUFOs to watch that video. It's important, and then as you watch it, if you have additional question, send an email. We'll be more than happy. My team will take a look. If the question is very, very specific to maybe something I said or something, they'll pass the email to me, and I'll be back in touch with you. That'll be my pleasure. Everybody, talking about pleasure, a pleasure to spend an hour with you here trading the markets. You guys keep up the good work. I'm delighted, guys, with the emails I receive from you guys, with the strong work that you guys are putting in place. The hard work, the real commitment to mastering trading. And we are delighted to see your progresses and everything else. Okay, so count on us for the questions, for the support you need. Also, next weekend we'll be running sharpening sessions on the Sunday, isn't it? So count on us as well to come there with your questions. You can even email your questions ahead of time, and we can talk about it, live. As the markets are closed and we have no rush, we can talk about all those questions with the charts and everything else. Okay, so keep up the good work. Count on us, and let's enjoy the markets, guys. Professionally, let's enjoy the markets. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.